All right. Well, good evening. Welcome to our second to last coaches call for the 2023 FLL season. So let's just get right down to it. Obviously, we're on pace for February 4th. I did go to Madison College today and just referencing some conversations that were in Slack a while back. Each room for the judges presentations are actually all going to be large rooms, so there'll be plenty of space for the kids, of course. There was some discussion that some rooms were really small and felt cramped. I think I saw the rooms that those were referring to. We're going to leave one of those as the sensory room, and somebody had a request for a nursing room, so we'll leave one of those available for that as well. Otherwise, I'll pass the torch on to Brian if you had any comments, and then on to Jay.
The only comments I have is we are working on the schedule. Part of it's dependent upon getting more judges, so need more judges to where we want to be from a target. I'm about 7 short, so looking for that. Other than that, we're kind of looking for a schedule to come out mid next week, so a few days before the event.
Craig only has given me 3 minutes tonight, just so you guys know.
Just to start with.
I saw him hit the timer just a second ago. Thank you
Well,
guys.
he's timing me. Okay.
Right. I want to thank you guys for coming out last night. I'm just going to repeat a couple things on here because the kids call was not recorded. But just a couple of things we touched on. We had at one point we had about 20 kids on with kids, coaches, parents, which was really good. I appreciate you guys coming out. I think we had a good time with the kids. Got to chat with a lot of them, get some of their insight. And I'm just basically, you guys were here. Everybody in the room was here, but I just want to repeat it because this is being recorded. So we did reveal the big super secret game last night, and it is going to be an alliance play game. It'll be a mini game. Has nothing to do with any kind of standings or rankings or scoring at state. So we will be forwarding more information along to you guys on that as we go through. Maybe we'll release another little piece of that on the kids call on Wednesday. Maybe we'll kind of piece it out to you guys. But the kids seemed excited about that, and I think it's going to be a good time. Emily, your kids look like they were excited about it, huh? Good. With that, there's obviously no more game updates. I don't expect any. I haven't heard any coming down through the pipeline. So, can do questions, comments, concern, anything you guys want. Nothing. Peggy, you got anything?
Nothing today.
You guys were just here for the schedule, weren't you? You're like,
I was actually free today, so I thought I'd join. So
Same boat. I actually remembered because I put it in my calendar because I used to want this too. Well, I do have a question. When we went to regionals, I walked up to the judges when the parents and the coaches went in first and made a mention of the fact that some of the kids on our team have some neuro differences. And that seemed to go over fairly well. The second time for regionals, sectionals, we were asked if we had any requests or preferences. And so in the email, I stated as such, because I had heard somebody mention that like one coach did that and then they printed it off and gave it to the judges for that room so that it was aware of. Well, that didn't happen. And we had an interesting comment on our judging rubric that definitely led me to believe that at least the judge who wrote it had no awareness of the neuro differences. So what is the best route to go about doing this? It's very confusing for us as coaches because there's no clear defined scenario. I mean, it's fairly obvious, when a child has, like a verbal tic, that the child has a verbal tic, but some of the other things are a little less obvious. And it was just kind of a unfortunate comment and I just let it roll off my back. But I want to know what I can do to make sure that the judges are aware of these situations so that they don't have rude comments like that. And I don't think the person was trying to be rude in any way. It just, they didn't understand.
Okay. So first off, I would say send an email to FL teams telling them that you have that situation. They will get that to the judge advisor for the tournament, and this is just kind of general advice. I happen to be the judge advisor for this tournament, so I'm aware of that. But please still send that in as well. We'll be dealing with a lot of details between now and then, and it's nice to have that reminder. I do usually announce that to all of the judges that we have those situations, because I might have kids in other rooms that we don't know about. You can feel free to, just make a group comment to the judges on the way in, and then just go sit down and let it play out. That's fine, but advance notice to the judge advisor through FL teams is the way to go.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg, you're going to get an email.
No, well, I concur 100%. Obviously, if we know about it ahead of time, we can do something about it and make the appropriate people aware. You shouldn't have to, wait around 2 seconds before you go into the judge's room to give them a heads up. But so, whatever the special situation is, no matter what it is, send an email to FLL teams and we'll work with it.
And that's worked pretty well in the past for any tournaments I've been part of and was told about.
Okay, cool. I just didn't know exactly, I guess, who to email before, so I will email FL team.
You can always do it through FLL teams. You could, when tournaments reach out to you with information, schedules and stuff like that, you can reply back to that. In this case, it happened that'll be coming from FLL teams. But if it's like the Waukesha section or whatever, they tend to have their own emails. You can also do it through there.
Yeah.
But FLL teams always knows how to get a hold of the tournament team.
Okay, cool.
For any given tournament.
Is there some way going forward for next season that we could add something into a registration somewhere, or something where that kind of goes along with the team? Is that possible at all? I'm not sure what happens on that side of things. Is there somewhere like a note
Judge advisor doesn't always see that list either.
Gotcha.
So I would tend to say the email is might be the better way.
Yeah. I mean, throughout the whole season, we're getting emails of requests and special situations. And the first thing that I do is send it to the tournament director of that tournament that's affected. So what you're asking is not unusual, and at least so far it seems to work. Apparently it didn't work at the sectional, but we of course didn't know. So yeah, send an email and we're going to make sure the right people get it.
Yeah, I just, I didn't know if there was something that they look at in general, like there's a spot somewhere where we could, or maybe even on the coach calls or stuff like that leading up to tournaments, we can advise people what to do, right? So it won't be a passive thing, and there'll be something they can actively do to notify someone, because they may not know to notify anybody unless we talk about it. We'll try to make a note.
That is true. I do usually try to warn judges. Again, I'm not the only judge advisor, but I do try to let judges know, because honestly, a lot of these kids have some. It's not uncommon for these kids to be in the spectrum.
And we address that as well as, with the referees, but obviously the referee pool is a lot smaller than the judging pool. So it's a lot easier for us to get, information out. We have 10 or 12 core people, so I can usually get a hold of them. And we actually, because we do core values at the table as well, we are very well, everyone's looking out for, kind of anyone on the spectrum. That's why we try to have in place, if you're going to give somebody a 2 for a reason, we need to figure it out, make sure this isn't make sure what we think it might be a behavior issue is not just some form of issue that we need to address with the coach. That's obviously we don't want to punish a team. So we'll try to.
And referees get to have a little different interactions.
Yep. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no knock on the judges at all. You guys don't get to see them like we do. And like we said, we have a much smaller group of people to communicate to. Normally we can send a text and get everybody. So, all right.
No, I think the idea of having information more for the coaches on what to do for each individual competition sounds great. Cause like, I mean, I went through the judging, stuff, and it did have a section in there on, be aware that no kids are the same and yada, yada, yada. But even in the one room I was judging in, there was a child that I had no notification, but I've worked with kids enough to know that, he's teammates were being incredibly patient with him and incredibly kind to him. And I was all like, yay on teamwork and core values. And the other two judges in my room were like, I didn't see it like that. And I'm like, you don't work with kids like I do, I guess, because that was definitely a situation where there was just some neurological differences. And so it was just kind of like I had to kind of educate them a little bit on it. And it was kind of like, but I guess that what the benefit of being a coach on the side is too. We work directly with the kids and we see how they interact with each other in these situations. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And that interaction that you had with the other coaches is probably, funneled down throughout the season as well. So, we're all learning from each other. So that was glad you were there to help educate a little bit there too.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys? All right. I can't believe we're wrapping it up. It's not going to be long.
No, we
James,
ask
keep
Peggy
up.
how FRC is.
It's going. They didn't have school today, so that's why they weren't meeting tonight. But yeah, they finally look like they're ready to start putting a bot together. They got parts ordered and it's going. Hopefully they'll have a bot in time for their scrimmage, which I hear has not always been the case for them. So that's their goal this year, is to have that ready.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, then if no further questions, we'll call it an evening, I
Yeah.
guess.
Obviously, if Brian already mentioned it, but we are still looking for judges. So if you guys know of anybody or anybody watching the video here happens to end up being free that day, get a hold of us, because we're definitely still looking for more judges. The more judges we have, the easier it is on everybody, the more fluid the whole day goes. So thank you guys, everyone that participates in these calls all season, and the ones that I get comments all the time at tournaments that, hey, we can't always attend the calls, but we watch the videos. So we appreciate all you guys.
Yes, we do.
Great. Thanks, guys. See you next
All
week.
right,